final game of the Sunday, the Easter Sunday. It is 6:15 kickoff. It is at McDonald Jones Stadium now. Before we jump into the result, the predictions, I do want to say a few.
This isn't the last game of the round.
It's the last game of Sunday, if you listen to what I say.
Oh.
So we do have a few people that did give a few comments on our review show. You did have Jacko, who said Webster is a man manager. He's the type of coach who is getting the best from his players. Go over Waz. Who would have thought we would have won in the Townsville Heat, the humidity, and now the rain at Shark Park? Top 8 is possible. We had Stevie Boy say no one thought or even knew Webby was going to be a coach of this good. How good it was. I think Chance was the man of the match. He's definitely starting to compensate and show what him and Johnston can do together. We had Warriors Fan TV jump in and say, nice content, boys. Guys, get involved. We'd love to get you on the show and talk all things Warriors. We had Brent Source come in and say, respect from a Waz fan. We had Casilla FX come in and say the Warriors are getting top 4. Don't get ahead of yourself too quick, but I think they are definitely a top 8 shout. But Baxter, chucking it over to you. Talk to me about this Newcastle side.
Yeah, mate, we got Lachlan Miller in the fullback role, Dominic Young and Greg Mazhue in the wing position, Dane Gago and Bradman Best in the centre position, Phoenix Crossland and Jackson Hastings in the halves, Daniel Saifidi, Leo Thompson, in the forward position, Jaden Bradley in the hooker, Tyson Frizzell, Lachlan Fitzgibbon in the second row, Jack Johns again makes the lock position, Kurt Mann, Jack Harrington, Matt Croker, Brody Johns, not to be related to Jack Johns, and E.T. I'm going to call him E.T. from now on in the 18 HIA jersey position. Good game last week. Attacking-wise, scoring 32 points, but as we touched in our preview, if you're going to score 32 points, you should be winning the game, not walking away with 1 point. But hopefully, the coach there has looked at their defensive issues and they've really stepped it up against this week against the Warriors, who, I think I said in the comment, their top 6 is looking on the horizon, touch on wood, that they stay injury and suspension free, which looks like they are so far. So good signs to be a Warrior fan or a New Zealand person in general.
I will say, Warriors fans, if for some reason your results start going down, you want to know where this man lives or what his Instagram is so you can abuse him, let me know. I'm happy to pass that on. But obviously, the support we've been getting, not just from let's say Waz, because that's what they call them, not just the Waz fans, but New Zealand in a whole has been absolutely unbelievable. So, guys, we definitely do appreciate it. We definitely appreciate the comments, the likes, the subscribes, the viewing. Like, he's absolutely blown it up. I think this video that we did with last game's review had over 1,300 views, whereas our next closest video was like 200. So, massive shout out to the Warriors fans. Massive shout out to all the fans, guys. Reach out. We'd love to get you guys on. If it's something you want to do, if it's something you want to come on, you want to talk about, say, this game next week, definitely get in touch with us on YouTube. We'd definitely love to get you on. So massive shout out to them. But let's talk about their squad. And it's that man we're just talking about, Chance in number 1. You got Edward Cossi, Viliami Valet, Adam Pompey, Marcelo Montoya, Tamari Martin, Sean Johnson, Fanua Blake, Wade Egan, Bunty Afoa, Jackson Ford, Bailey Sirenen, Tohu Harris, Dylan Walker, Josh Carron, Jazz Tavaga, Tom Alley. And I'm going to let you say the 18th man purely because you are a friend of his. Take it away.
It's Dallin Wataziak in the 18/HIA position for this game. Good to see him back in this role, or should I say this team. I know injuries haven't been great to him lately, and just sitting on the sidelines and watching a team get better and better each week. It's really hard to crack a winning squad, given that there are no really injuries or suspensions, especially in the wingers position, because that's where he plays. So good to see him there. Hopefully, touch on wood again, no one gets a HIA, but he doesn't have to come on and do much. But look, I think someone said Sean Johnson's he's the best best half at the moment that's got the best feet in the game, and that quick sidestep against the Dogs with his obstruction, not obstruction, whatever you want to call it, try. Again, there's a reason why if he keeps on this trajectory of being this good player week in, week out, he could be taking out half, if not Dally M, player of the year, which would be great to see another Warrior player taking out the Dally M after your man, before he went to Union. The name escapes me, but Charles, what a great... What was that?
RTS.
Oh, Big Rog. Charles, great game last week coming out from fullback. Marcelo Montoya, again, another great game. Unlucky with that hip drop tackle. I didn't think it really was, because the way the play happened, it was moving forward. Where's he supposed to just drop forward with momentum? As I said, rules are rules. If a player falls on the back of a leg of an attacking player, it's automatically classed as a hip drop tackle regardless. But, a bit of greyness could see that it wasn't. But I'm glad that they, across the whole, up until so far this season, they've been hip drop tackles and the like have been straight to the bin and whatnot, been dealt with straight away. But there's no argument about it. We're just straight to the bin on report, and it's good to see. Which I'll lead into a question without notice in the last potty. I'm loving the Waratahs at the moment. Mate, New Zealand Warriors. What was I saying?
The Waratahs.
Nah, because just the wah. Look, New Zealand TV, mate, get us across there, because I'd love to just look. I don't know about you, but I've been to New Zealand once and I didn't leave the airport. Unfortunately, had a little 2-hour delay in flight connection, so I'd love to get it out and about around the town and even see Mount Smart Stadium. It would be a good one to see. But your thoughts on this game, Tony? Take it away.
Well, I mean, like you said, fingers crossed. I'm really hoping that Magic Round does get moved at the end of this round. I've been there last year. I will go this year, but I'd love for it to go to New Zealand. I think it'll be an absolute spectacle, and to give back to the fans that had to put up with not seeing their team play at home due to COVID. I think that'll be massive to give back to these boys and let them play and be around their family for the whole weekend. I think will be massive. So, like you said, we said it on the review show. Mate, we're absolutely buzzing for this side, and I'm a Rooster supporter. You're a Cowboys supporter. There's some teams you just go in and go, no, I hope they lose every week. This is a team, the Warriors, where every year I go, please be good, please be good, please get results. Because when they're playing football, when they're playing well, it's fucking exciting. They're playing backyard football. They're throwing the ball around. They're having fun. You've got Johnson winding back the clock, putting in these steps, moving his feet. And I had a note here to talk about, which you've already brought up. Realistically, if the Warriors are going to make the top 8, let's say they make the top 6. Let's just sit at 6, 7, just to be kind of a bit conscious in there is big teams around them. But I think in almost every single game they win, Johnston's getting at least 3 points, because that's the kind of player he is. If they win a game, Johnston's got his hands. So for me, I had it right here, and I was going to ask this question, and you already answered it. So I guess this goes out to the fans that are listening is Johnston a realistic approach for this Dally M? I think, if not the Dally M medal in itself, I think he's a big shout for that number 7 of the year, purely because he's going to be getting points left, right, and center. And you look at the big boys, the big number 7s, Nathan Cleary. Well, Luai can have a big game. Dylan Edwards can have a big game. Brian To'o can have a big game. They take points away from him. But I look at Sean Johnson and I go, maybe Chance. But now that there's so many extra points, maybe Chance gets free. Maybe Sean Johnson gets free. So I think he'll definitely be in there. I think if they can continue his form, he will be a top 5. But like you said, obviously, I guess bad signs that Neokore did get suspended. But I've said week in, week out, this pack is fucking unbelievable. When you can bring Bailey Sirenen into this team, into this starting lineup to replace Neokore, you're in a good position as a Warriors fan. But I feel like I'm getting more excited as a Warriors perspective talking about this than what I did about the Roosters and what you did about the Cowboys. But it's a team that, since they made that grand final so many years ago, we've been sitting here going, fuck, I wish I'd have a good season. And then you had COVID, everything they sacrificed, and you went, man, they deserve to have a good season now. So I am glad they're having a good season. I'll touch wood after what you said, but I do hope they continue that run. And you know what? I think if you're a Warriors fan, if you finish 8th and you got in by a field goal, you're going to take that because it's a massive improvement on last season. But Baxter, what's your tips? What's your prediction from this game? Obviously, it is in Newcastle. They have shown resilience the last couple of weeks, but what are your picks here?
Look, let's all aboard the Wars train, the trending train at the moment, and I'm going the Wars in a 1-12.
You know what? I don't think there's any way, given the support we got this week, that we can tip against the Wars. But it's not even that. It's not even the support that we have received here, because you know what? We could say something in 2 weeks and cop absolutely hate from New Zealand. So just like you saw in the World Cup, you were getting love from the Samoans and the Tongans, and then fast forward 2 games later, there was a lot of abuse getting thrown your way. But I'm going to go to Wars 1-12. I'm going to agree with you here. I would love to go 13+, but I just think the resilience that the Knights have shown the last couple of weeks, the way they've spread teams, the way they've passed the ball, they definitely look a lot better as a team. So it's going to be a great clash. But let me ask you a question, Baxter, and this isn't just involving the Warriors, but my answer will involve the Warriors. That's why I'm asking it now, and I'm asking this to everyone that is obviously listening to this episode. Signing of the season. Do you have someone from the Warriors as your signing of the season, or if you had to pick someone, who has been the best signing for the Warriors this season?
I'd have to relook at who they actually signed this year, because the only this is no like Chaz is obviously the one that sticks out the most. Obviously, being the big news coming out of Canberra, but I'd have to look there. But possibly, like if they finish in the top half, even 6, you'd probably say there's a signing of the season somewhere in there. Like you look at last year, you probably have Chad Townsend as signing of the season purely based on, as I said, Cowboys finishing second last the previous season, finishing third the next season, where Nico Hines, Dalian Player of the Year. I think Cronulla finished 9th the year before. Last year they finished second, so it's not as much a bigger improvement as we did. No bias in that opinion, just purely stats. But remind me where the Warriors finished last year and where they were sitting this time last year. I think they were sitting bottom 4, maybe bottom 5, if I had to guess off the top of my head. But 6th, second.
They finished 15th on 14 points. I can't talk about where they were at this stage, but they finished with only 6 wins on the season.
Well, 6 wins, and we're up to round 6. And what are they sitting? 5-1. One more, and you equally 2 more, should I say, equaling last year's win tally. So, man, what a big improvement to finish second last to now finishing second. I think someone put that in the comments as it re-jogs in my brain. It's a big. I'm going to throw it to you, and I want to probably say yes, but if we go on the current trajectory and at the end of the year, would you put Andrew Webster as your coach of the year?
Mate, I was going to put Andrew Webster as my signing of the year, so I think that answers your question right there. I was going to throw a curveball. I was going to put Andrew Webster as my signing of the year. So I think if this side, I don't think they can finish 7th and 8th and Webster gets coach of the year. I think they need to finish in that top 6. If he can get this team into the top 6, maybe win week 1 of finals, I think they're a massive shout to get him coach of the year. But I think so far this season, he is the signing of the season because we've seen how he's turned around this side. But obviously, you've got to remember there is a lot of teams where, okay, let's say Demetrio takes South to a minor premiership, they win the grand final. I know that doesn't get taken into account, the grand final and stuff, but if he was to go on and win that, does he win coach of the year? If Robinson goes on and the Roosters start belting teams 40-0 every week and they roll on, does he get coach of the year? People wrote off Melbourne. If Bellamy takes them back to the minor premiership, does he get... There's a lot of ifs and buts, but I think if the Warriors can finish in the top 6, massive chance.
You know what? I think just saying that, I think if it is confirmed to be last year, I think they might, as a gimme, throw it to Bellamy. I'm afraid that could be a possibility. Like it is, like anything's possible, but I'm afraid that
top four, 100% agreed. If they finish in the top four,
if they finish top four, I am leaning towards Bellamy being coach of the year as a, look at what you've done, look at what's happened. You're going out on a high. It's your last year, coach of the year, boom, celebrate. Everybody around
you know what? Fuck Melbourne, because we're playing them this weekend. Up the fucking wires, Webster, coach of the year, if they get in the top 6. And we'll leave it there. Wires fans will absolutely love that.
You said,
as long as you don't
Webster
call him
signing of the year. I said coach of the year. So I'm going hashtag coach of the year. War out.
Well, I've got hashtag sign of the year, so he's got to get coach of the year. But as long as you don't call them Waratahs anymore, they might like you a little bit more in the comment section. But
I apologize.